If you remember nothing else about preparation prior to presentation, remember this axiom. People remember very little. We are swamped today in a sea of words. And the fact is, we've got to distill our message. And when the tumult and fury is over, if you can get your auditors to remember one big idea, you have succeeded. Most people do not remember anything from a message. They may remember a feeling or an experience, but in terms of what did the speaker say, what was the presentation all about, they will look at you with the deer in the headlight look. So how do you overcome that? The key to overcoming that is succinct, crisp, and clear organization. Most people set up mental housekeeping in a revolving door, I'm convinced. Too many messages, too many points, many messages within the same message, on and on it goes, and we drown in that. Remember, the Grand Canyon was formed by one river, the Colorado, and it is a gorgeous scene. It cuts deeply. We want to be a river in our organizational ability, not a swamp. The Everglades covers a lot of territory about this deep, and it's known for dead things. People don't remember too many things. So what we want is a very sharply focused organizational method. How do you do that? Remember two principles. One is called the big idea. It's what you want people to remember after everything is done. Number two, the mini message, M-I-N-I message. What do those mean? The big idea is a short, normally 10 words or less, declarative sentence using one syllable if you can, that is true both in Brooklyn and in Bangkok. It is transcultural and it is memorable, and you'll have to work hard to come up with the theme or the big idea. That's what you will repeat often in the message. Secondly, the mini message. Those are the points, 1 to 3 points, that will prove the big idea. They are the principles that answer the question, why do you say that? Because of the following 3 or the following 2, and I'd suggest every message should have at least one genuine point. So what are we talking about here? It's how to put the message together. I'd like to illustrate that through a choo-choo train, a train. The introduction of your message should be the locomotive. It drives the train, obviously, down the track. You want to stay on the track. The fuel to drive the boxcars and the caboose consists of the following: an opening story that is compelling and grabs the attention of the people, grabs their ears. You light the match on the first strike. What does that mean? It means a personal story that happened to you recently, perhaps. The more recent, the better. It could be a startling statistic. It could be a little-known fact. But it aids you in getting in to the boxcars, the heart or the body of your message. A, arouses interest. I, creates an interest to learn more. And D, a desire to stay with you. It aids you in getting into the message. After your personal story, your startling statistic, whatever it might be, the second thing is this. You then move toward your theme, what you're going to attempt to prove and persuade the audience to believe, whether it's one, small group, or many. That theme then is backed up by principles or points. So you open with a story or an illustration or an example. You share your theme. You may repeat your theme again, and then you get into the boxcars, which is your body. What does a boxcar consist of, or a mini message? It consists of 3 things. Simple. Explanation, illustration, application. Why? Explanation is your logos. Illustration is your pathos. Application is your ethos. Each one of them will give the facts, will give an illustration that casts light, and finally will apply to you as a speaker, how this has affected your life. And when you get done with each one of those boxcars, proving your big idea, you then repeat your theme or big idea and move to the next point, which might be your second boxcar, repeating the theme again, moving to maximum, your third boxcar, repeating your theme right after that. That's your body. Your conclusion, obviously the caboose. What does that consist of? First, a summary of your main points. Just literally grocery list those summary points. Your audience will love you for it. They'll be taking notes, they'll miss something, they will love you to repeat. Repetition aids learning, ladies and gentlemen, and you cannot repeat too much. You think you're repeating too much, they don't. They're grateful you are. Then you move to what I call a central illustration. It's the knockout punch. Sometimes I call it the haymaker. What is that? It's an illustration that has some emotion to it, some impact to it. It's the one that they'll remember the most. It may be longer. But the point is that central illustration wraps up everything into one final ring the bell, 10 out of 10. And then you close, guess what? With your theme or your big idea. I am not big on applying it too much to the audience. They'll figure it out. What they want to know is how do you apply it to your own life, and then as it relates in a relevant way to them, they will begin to apply it to themselves. Organization is key. Drive the train down the track. It is quicker, it gets your point across, it allows you to stay on track, and it is not necessarily flashy, but it is extraordinarily effective.